Hey everybody, I'm Sean for the Canadian Brewing Channel, and today I'm going to talk about all-grain brewing and what gear, I'm talking brew gear, you would need. Now there's different ways that you can all-grain brew. Some people do what's called brew to bag. Other people do what I do, which is basically using a mash tun to brew, and that's what I'm going to talk about today because I've never brewed in a bag. And brewing in a bag is a little bit cheaper than how I go about all-grain brewing, but I haven't done it before, so I don't want to say something about something I haven't experienced. So I'm going to go through the minimum things you're going to need to all-grain brew. All right, so we'll start off with, how about the boil kettle? Right back behind here, that's my boil kettle. That is a 15-gallon stainless steel kettle. Paid probably about $200 for it, and it's 15 gallons. It's enough to do 10 gallons I can get out of that if I really try hard, without overflowing when I'm boiling. You don't have to go that big. You could start with a 10-gallon pot if you wanted, no problem, with a little bit less money. But that one is a 15-gallon pot. Next thing I have beside me here is a mash tun, which is basically a cooler. And you can see it says Igloo 10-gallon drinking water cooler. It does have a false bottom in it, so you can mash with that. So you would need to also purchase one of those. That's an important thing to have if you're doing all-grain brewing. You do need it. Otherwise, if you're using like a dry malt extract or extract brewing, this you wouldn't need. Another thing you would need, obviously, is a carboy or somewhere to ferment your wort into beer. So these are pretty cheap. This one here is like a wide mouth. You can take this cap off and it's easy to clean here. It's plastic. I don't know if I'd get another one because they scratch easy. My glass carboys last me a long time as long as you don't drop them, right? So you would need something like this to ferment. And with that, you would need what this is an airlock. It sticks in there, keeps all the nasties out, it fills with some sanitizer, and it keeps everything from getting in here and ruining your beer. Another thing you will need if you're going to mash and use your brew kettle is some silicone tubing that transfers the beer or the wort back and forth as you're mashing or you're brewing or you're filling your fermenter. Brings me to the next thing. This here is a plate chiller. Now a plate chiller is the most efficient, in my opinion, of cooling wort down to the specific temperature that you need when you're going to pitch your yeast. With a plate chiller, there's pros and cons. The pro is it's fast, super fast. The con is that because it has all these small little plates, you can get stuff stuck in here and it can be an issue. In cleaning it can be hard as well. I use gravity, I don't have any pumps, so I'm pretty much on the basics. But with this one here, I'm just careful on how I do it. I've had no problems with it and I love it because I can go directly from my boil kettle into my carboy vessel in 5 minutes. It's all down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, so I can pitch my yeast. Other things you can use are immersion chillers, where it's like a big long copper tube that you slide right into your mash kettle, and it takes you about 20 minutes to 25 minutes to cool the wort down. Benefit of that is it's self-cleaning or self-sanitizing. When you put it in the wort, it's sanitized by the temperature. It doesn't have the issue with clogging up. The benefit of that is great if you're not used to all-grain brewing, but the drawback is it takes 15 or 20 minutes. Another thing you will need is a hydrometer. Okay, so a hydrometer basically has a scale on it that allows you to know the specific gravity of your wort, so you can calculate how much sugar is in there and how much potential alcohol you can make. So one of these is around 25 bucks. You can use this. You can also get a refractometer, but refractometers don't give you an accurate reading once there's alcohol involved. So this is a must that you need to have. Cleaning brushes. There's all sorts of different little cleaning brushes that you will need to clean all of your equipment. There's thin little brushes. This one here is used for cleaning instead of carboys. They're like $5, $10, not a big deal. Talking about cleaning, I highly recommend Star San. Star San is amazing. It's basically, the majority of it is phosphoric acid, so the pH on it is like 2.5 to 3, so it will kill all bacteria and yeast. This stuff is a no-rinse sanitizer, so what that means is you use the proper amount in your carboy or in any of your areas where you're worried about having sanitization issues, and any residual amount that's left, you don't have to worry about cleaning it out. It's a great product. Okay, that's a great thing to have. This here is called a mash paddle. So when you're mashing, you do need to stir. So you do need something to get in there and stir with. You can't just use like your spoon from your kitchen. Look how long this is. And this is plastic because this is plastic as well. If you use something steel, you could actually ruin this. So you need something that's made of plastic. Now, if you're going to want to transfer from once you've made your beer into beer bottles or into a keg, you got to get it from your carboy into the keg or the bottles. So you have a tube here, it's like a siphon pump, and some plastic tubing to get into your bottles or to get into your kegs. So you will need this as well to help you out. When you're talking about hopping, sometimes you're gonna have to put hops in your beer to make a beer. So you can get little bags like this that you can put the hops in. You can put a lot of hops in there, and you can use these to go in your boil kettle. You can also put these to dry hop into your carboy. So these are very useful, and you can clean them over and use them over and over and over. They're a great thing. There's other things like hop spiders you can buy, but this is cheap. These are a few bucks. One of the biggest things, first things I bought when I started brewing, this is like 30 years ago, was this. This is a bottle washer. This thing is awesome. If you've ever tried brewing without a bottle washer and you bottle your beer, what are you doing? You're sitting here shaking your beer and spraying it with a tap and trying to get all of that sediment out of the bottom of the beer, out of the bottle. This is it. This thing, like I said, is 30 years old, still works. It's amazing. You need one of these for sure. This here is a great thing too. Sanitizing your bottles. So once you've sprayed them out and cleaned them with your bottle washer, this, you're going to put some sanitizer in it, and you're just going to pump the bottle up and down on it, and it's going to spray the sanitizer into the bottle. Voila, it's clean. Another thing you're going to want to get is a scale. This scale is good up to 5 pounds, and it's great for weighing all your grains. If you want to get a smaller scale, you may want to get that one too. That's good for up to 1 pound, so you can measure ounces or grams if you're talking about your hops, or if you get into worrying about your water profile and having gypsum and sodium chloride and all those different things you got to use grams of. You need something that's a smaller scale. One of the most important things to have, and it's pretty cheap. This is a digitalized thermometer. It's like 15 bucks. You need one of these. You have to have one. Whenever you're going to mash, you need to know the temperature of your mash. This is important. Also, when you are cooling your wort going down through your plate chiller, you're going to want to make sure you're checking that you're in the right range of temperature. If you're too high, you're going to kill your yeast. So that's a very important thing to have as well. That pretty much is everything you would need to start all grain brewing. I did mention about having a grain mill, but when you go to get your grain from any reputable place, that's a good brewing place, they will offer you to grind my malted barley. The barley, if you buy it whole, which I do, it's good to keep for like over a year. Malted barley you keep a long time. Once you've crushed the grains, you got to use them within I'd say a month. So they will offer to do that for you, and I used to do it at first. The two drawbacks are, once it's been ground down, you got to use it within a month. The second thing is, you don't get to pick how fine it's ground, okay? With my mill, I've got it set just the way it works for myself, and it works great. So, but that was about $250 to buy that mill. So you don't have to buy one of those right away, but it helps in the long run. So the other thing, it isn't on my table here, is you're gonna need a heat source. So if you're just starting out, you're probably gonna be doing it on the kitchen stove. I right now am using a propane burner, which is 80,000 BTUs, so it's really good for doing 15 gallons or 10 gallons. It heats up pretty quickly. It's propane, but if you don't have that, then you're gonna have to use a stove. Unfortunately, most stoves are only about 8 to 12,000 BTUs, so that means that you're not gonna be able to probably heat up 1 to 5 gallons in a reputable amount of time. So reasonably, you'd have to have more than that. You could get one of these propane burners and do it outside or in the garage, which is what a lot of people do. Go out and look at the videos. Most of them are in the garage or they're outside. I'm lucky enough that I have this set up downstairs. Another thing you can't see off camera is I have a really deep sink. It's a great sink for washing my bottles. You need a place to wash, right? You have to have a place to wash your bottles. If you don't, it's going to be really hard to keep this hobby going. Try and set yourself up so that it isn't really hard to do. I think that's the biggest issue and problem people have when they start getting into this hobby, whether it's doing dry malt extracts or regular extracts or all grain, is not having a place to do it. I started off in the kitchen like almost everybody else does, so your wife gets mad at you for leaving sticky floor messes everywhere, but it's a start. Once you think you really like this hobby, then try and find a spot somewhere in your home or outside that you can set up that's your own brew place, your own brew spot. It's yours to have. Then the wife will be happier because you're not in her way. And if you have any other comments on this or you have any questions, let me know. But I just want to do this quick video for you guys to say what gear you would need if you want to start all grain brewing. This is Sean for the Canadian Brewing Channel, signing off. Thanks and have a great day.